Hello everyone, welcome back to PonyCam. In this video I'm going to talk you through my first ever ride on Magic. This was in January last year, so January 2019. It was my first ever time riding on him, and we did a little bit of jumping as well as our normal flat work and warm up. So I'll just talk you through how he was to ride for the very first time. I hope you'll be able to see a difference between how he was in this video and how he is now. I can certainly tell he's improved a lot, and I hope you can too from the helmet cam video. So this was the first time I'd even seen him in real life, I think. So I didn't know what he was going to be like at all. Fortunately, he was very, very good at the mounting block. He knew to stand still, didn't try and wander off or do anything naughty, which was really good. So that was a good first impression. You can see he is quite an inquisitive horse. Even straight away there, he's just looking around him. He just wants to see what's going on and where all the other horses are, and he's still like that now. He likes to look at everything that's going on. Often when we're in the school, he'll look out over the side of the school when he's supposed to be working, because he's spotted something in the distance that he wants to have a look at. And there you go again, just having a little look around him. I think by this point he'd been at the yard for 2 or 3 weeks, so he had been in the school plenty of times with his owner and with some of the staff from the yard too. So in this lesson we did what we usually do, which is start off in open order and just warm up our horses individually. That was our first attempt at a halt, just a really quick one. I didn't want to make him stand around for too long because I could tell he was a little bit fidgety. But he did that really nicely. He just slowed down really quickly for me. I did have to ask a bit more strongly than I would normally, but he did listen in the end. Here's our first trot. A nice little stretch down there straight away, so that was good. And then he goes straight into typical Magic giraffe mode. But never mind, you can see that one ear forward and that one ear back that he always does. He still does that now as well, always listening and looking around him. So I was just trying to assess kind of what he was like to ride. I could tell straight away that he wasn't going to bend very easily, and he was a little bit rushy as well. You can see here, it looks like he's got a nice active trot, but actually he's rushing quite a lot. He's really on the forehand. And just trying to turn him, like I was trying to do a circle there, and I had my inside leg on to push him over, and he just didn't listen to it at all. It was like it wasn't there. And I really had to rely on my reins in this lesson. There you go, halting there. He did actually respond really quickly there. You saw his head come up. That's actually because he slipped a little bit on the surface because he was trying to stop so quickly, which I wasn't expecting. So actually that was quite nice. You see there, our first canter, he really fell in there, and that's not me pulling his head to the outside or pushing with my outside leg. That's just the way he cantered. That was so he could try and balance himself on the turn. And there I just really asked him to try and bend around my leg around that second corner, and he did a much better job, although he found it very difficult. And then to just come back to me there when the horse in front was cantering off. Same thing again there, just trying to keep him in trot for a second, just so he doesn't go straight off after that horse in front of him. And a little canter on the other rein. This has always been Magic's better rein. You can see he's not falling in nearly as much, and he's actually almost bending to the inside there, which is good. He's a much better than he was on the left rein now, but he's still quite stiff on that rein. So I think here we're just working on a few transitions and a little bit more bending. That's basically what my focus was for this first half of the lesson. Once I kind of got an idea of what he was like, it was really a case of trying to work him in and really try and get him bending both ways and trying to get him to settle a little bit. You see here I'm trying to just trot him around the school. There's lots of other horses cantering around him, and he really wants to canter. And obviously I wasn't going to let him go off by himself. And he was really good actually, because he wanted to catch up. He wanted to be part of that ride that you just saw ahead there. And I asked him to turn and to not try and rush off to catch up with him, and he did. Even though he wanted to go over with his friends, he did listen to what I was asking, and he did it nicely. So he got a little pat there for that. Here we are attempting some leg yielding. He actually picked this up really quickly. He's quite dead to the leg, as in he doesn't really listen when you're asking him to move with your leg, not in terms of going faster, but moving off your leg, off the pressure. But you do have to be quite strong with the leg to get him to understand what you mean. But once you've got that understanding, he'll do it all day. And this is adding in some poles. Now, we were supposed to be halting over the first pole, trotting over that one there that we've just stopped on, and then halting again on the pole just in the distance there. So I brought him around the corner and he immediately locked on to, oh my god, poles! And we trotted, and I managed to stop him by the second pole and then stop him again just there on the third one. That was good. He just, got overexcited. Same there, saw the poles, saw the horse ahead of him, thought, oi, let's go. And he actually did it a little bit better there, and then trying to stop again over the final pole, he actually stopped in front of it, because I asked a bit earlier to make sure we stopped in time, and he really listened, and he went, oh, yep, I'll stop. So he is listening, he's just a bit excited. And here, no chance. Same thing, trying to stop over the first pole, canter over the little jump, or trot over the little jump, I'm not sure what we were doing, and then stop over the third pole. And I just popped him over that from a very short distance in trot, because it was only a small jump, so that was fine. And then a big old pat, because he did a really good stop there over the final pole. That was really good. He's starting to understand the exercise a bit more, even though it's a lot more exciting and he's struggling to stop in front of the fence. He was doing a much better job of stopping after the fence. Now here I just brought him around the side a little bit. I knew if we went over the pole he'd lock onto the jump straight away and drag me over it, which is not what we wanted. So I'm just doing a little circle because the fence is slightly bigger, just to make sure that we've got a better run up. So a nice walk over the pole there, and a nice quiet trot into the fence, and then of course trying to stop after it. He's forgotten that second bit there, even though I was asking. He lands with quite a lot of impulsion and energy, and it's quite hard for him to actually stop straight away afterwards. He lands and then he's on the forehand and he's sort of bumbling along forwards, and it's really difficult for him to compose himself and stop. So we just walked him round and stopped him over the pole, just as a little, remember, this is what you're supposed to be doing, and a nice big pat, because he stopped there nicely. You can see there falling in because he's excited, but good boy, he stops over the first pole, which is fantastic. He's got it, he's listened, nice jump over there. He does still miss the third pole, but that's fine, because he actually does come back to me a lot faster. Not the fence down, but that doesn't matter at all. That was also classic magic style, always knocking poles, but just bringing him round, and another final halt over that pole, and a big old pat, because he did so well there. He's still excited, like I said, but he listened really, really well, and he picked it up really quickly. And I think this is the point where I decided that I actually quite liked riding him, because I wasn't sure to start with, because he was so funny. He wouldn't turn, he wouldn't stop, he wouldn't go where you wanted, but I think his intelligence kind of won me over. And here we're all just leaving the arena, and I'm just asking him to stop, because he wants to keep on walking and barge through to the front. So I just asked him to have a little half halt and a stop there, and he did. So we got another little pat for that, because that was good, even though the lesson was over. We can't just, stop training as soon as we're out of the arena. And that's the end of the lesson, and a really big pat. And that was my first ever ride on Magic. I hope that gave you a bit more understanding of how he was and the exercise that we were trying to do. And I've been riding him almost every week since that lesson. And like I said, I hope you can see some improvement, because I definitely can. He really is such a lovely horse. He does have his own opinions. I'm sure you've seen him having little tantrums in other videos. But at the end of the day, he does always come back to the rider and listen to them, which is really, really nice. So he's not a horrible horse. He's not got a nasty bone in his body. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.